For today's deck testing video, I'm going to be taking a whirl on a Empire version of Conscription. And now, I know not everyone loves Conscription decks, they're kind of beat to death, but they are an important piece of the meta. We did get some new color combinations, so it is worth trying them out. And this is currently what I'm running for my Empire build. I think this one is pretty decent against other control decks, but it can get swarmed down because I think this lacks the early game versatility that other Conscription decks tend to have. But this is the list. Like always, there will be a deck code in the video description, and like always, we're gonna go play 2 games, win or lose, and see how this goes. Now, I have kind of toyed around as well with the Guildsworn Conscription, and I have also toyed around with Dominion Conscription. I don't know which one I like the best right now because they all do different things pretty well, actually. I think the biggest issue is that I think both Dominion and Guildsworn actually feel really good in terms of being Conscription decks, but you kind of miss Necromancer in those matchups. So here I think we keep Amulet, because if this ends up being an aggressive archer, we want that. Similarly, we keep Profiteer for early presence, but throw back the Marshblade because 1, we don't want it this early, and 2, we want to find some ramp. And that is another thing that you desperately miss in the other color combinations. Dominion and Guildsworn have some cool tools, but Conscription is that much better when you can run the Scout Ramp package as a result. So this is good news if this ends up being an aggressive deck, though this is telling me probably not. So if this ends up being like Control Archer, we could be in for quite the battle. Specifically because Unstoppable Rage can be an issue.
I do not fear death. My scales move in shadow.
Alright. So they take that route. We can either develop Galen on our Hist Mage or the Amulet, or do nothing. I think we're just going to develop the Amulet, though. We can get punished if they run Doucheneck Archer or Belligerent Giant, but really it's more about just like not taking a turn off right now. Interesting. This might actually be Market Archer, and the Debilitate is now leading me to believe that very well may be the case. Market Archer has the potential to be very, very good against us. If we can't kind of out-heal them, or get ahead, that is. So playing this early actually might have been a legitimate benefit. Yeah, everything I'm seeing right now says that this is going to be Market Archer. And shadow marking is doing nothing to dissuade me from thinking such a thing. Again, this could be a bad matchup for us. Yes, our list certainly has ways to deal with supports, but typically decks like this, they wait to play the supports until they're ready to play the full combo, so... Well, we're gonna do this, and then move this back over to kind of wall up, and then we're gonna go ahead and start cycling through. So there is some of that support removal, but they're digging through their deck. We want to do exactly the same thing right now.
Care to make a friendly wager?
So they pitch a Gambler as they look for more combo pieces, and then that leaves us with a decision to make, unless we top deck something else. But we're gonna have to decide, do we want to Edict this or save it in case they get clumsy with their support plays. But again, right now I've seen nothing to suggest that they're the kind of player that would do such a thing. Now they're at 8. Can't really make them overdraw, sadly. So let's go ahead and do this. In this particular instance, I think we want the Necromancer, because we're going to want to Galen that anyway. I don't think... You know, that was actually a play mistake. We should have held on to that, because we could have just hit our opponent square in the face and then let them overdraw on the gambler itself, actually. And if they would have overdrawn some Swindler's Markets, for example, that would have been very, very beneficial. So in hindsight, I think that's actually a play mistake. Normally, you see a gambler and you just think, like, I gotta get rid of that gambler. Like, it's so ingrained that it can be easy to tunnel vision there, I think, but reflecting, I think it might have been correct to actually leave the gambler alone. And now their hand is small enough where that is not likely to play, but we are going to
I will keep Sota Sil's people
get Galen on our Necromancer here. Develop another amulet. So far we haven't ran into any support removal, so hopefully these will stick around and kind of carry us through. That is one of the ways that you can combat market decks. If you can keep your health total high enough to where they can't kill you in one turn, you can maybe make them run out of gas.
You bet on the wrong side.
So that's a bit of the hope here.
They missed their shot.
So we have some debilitates of our own. As they continue to cycle through.
Like someone who fights back. What have we here?
We might just use one to clear up their board, draw a card on our end.
Hermamora tests us.
Yeah, they're loading up to get ready to go here, so getting some healing from our amulets could be very beneficial. They're thinking.
I swear vengeance.
We're gonna go ahead and draw a card here. See what we end up with. Well, that is a rather nice Necromancer. That is a rather nice Necromancer indeed. I want to be able to play this after the Debilitate. So I actually think that what we want to do is let this hit face for the 1 Empower. This can just trade here. And then we can Debilitate and develop this. So I lose out on 2 potential health, whereas if I would have just attacked with the camel in a manner where this would have died, might have been more beneficial, but I gain the benefit of developing a creature with Drain. And we'd like to get this so that we can start ramping up off of this Necromancer, start trying to set up chains, if possible. Alright, it's unfortunate for us. Alright, 9, so we can make them overdraw here, which I'm okay with.
Ita Oriel.
Ooh.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
Do you have another Debilitate that we could drop? Or we can just go with Viper and a Guard. I like the Viper Guard play better, I think. Because this still gets me a little bit of health, but it also gets the ramp. I think the ramp is pretty important.
Feel the power within you.
I think the ramp is pretty important. We'd like to set ourselves up so that we can maybe get rid of our own units on that right side with trades, and then play a conscription, flooding our board even further. We're really just trying to out-heal their ability to take us out. But it looks like they're not going to give us that chance. Looks like they're not going to give us that chance. So, we have more decisions to make. We do have the other Necromancer. We could pull out a Galen again, or a Marshblade, or a Profiteer. Profiteer helps with the healing issue, actually. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it this way then. If we can't flood our board with Conscription, then we'll flood our board the old-fashioned way while gaining some extra health in the process. And we're going to do Barrowstalker over here, but this is doing nothing for us anyway, and we want to get some additional life gain triggers. So I'm fine with putting that there. That still gives us guards in both lanes. We get the draw. We get the overdraw on the market. So close call is usually a big source of damage, and we've got a market that we got rid of, so does look like they're gonna make a go for it now, knowing they only have the two. They also have the outpost now, and a clan captain. So, the good news for us is that with the guards and the healing and things like that, I don't think they can burst me down.
Let's do this.
Unless they chain together spoils into a bunch of natural zero costs, which is a possibility. These market decks, these new market decks, spoils is like the backbone of them, as we can see. So if they chain multiple spoils into multiple creatures, that's an issue. If not, if we survive this, then we're fine. Actually, the debilitate, I think, just helps us because of our handy little amulets here. I think that just helps us. And yeah, I think they realize, oh yeah, that's a concede. They're out of gas. We still have a lot of cards. Still had a good amount of health. So, all right, we will take a victory. Bit of a edge of my seat game there because, again, as we saw, typically you hold on to your supports until you're ready to combo, so I didn't think we would ever really get the chance to remove them. So we had to keep our health total high and keep guards on the board. I felt like we did a good job of that. And we go from Market Archer straight into what is likely, if I had to guess, Market Assassin. Seems to be the most common flavor as of late, and we are going to be in the exact same boat in this matchup. So, going to try to keep our health total high.
I keep a spare blade in my boot.
Oh, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It might just be good old-fashioned, like, tempo burn assassin. What the hell?
What have we here?
I stand corrected. I don't know if
Don't
I'm
underestimate. I'm ready for you.
happy or
Just
sad
give me a
about that,
name.
if I'm being honest.
My scales move.
I know I'm giving them the contract here, but
Shall heal you.
it still stokes some damage. Alright, so that's going to be a Manic Jack. We need that ramp so that we can get into some more impactful plays, so... Or I'm... Also,
It's nothing
I guess
personal.
in my Burn Assassin I ran Forked Bolt, so...
I'm ready for you.
Behold,
Not
my
exactly shocked here. There's the Manic
monster.
Jack. Cast into time is kind of relevant, but... I think we slow them down more with Treeminder Barrowstalker. Could be wrong. I mean, we're really trying to get ourselves up to
The hist shall heal you.
debilitate range.
Smell the stench
So-
of the living.
We are not a blue-based conscription deck at the moment, and as such, we have no Ice Storm. So we only have debilitate. Naturally, Manic Jack gets ward.
Let's do the fish stick.
It's nothing personal. Do your work.
Easy plays by my opponent. We would still really like to find a debilitate here, though. So they play Tempo Harpy. We did not find
I'll scout
a
ahead.
debilitate, so... believe it or not, I think we just discard this. We care far more about surviving, I think. And there are 2 more in the deck. Now we have the decision to make of, we could play Viper and a Marshblade. Doing so means that this is representing a future Viper. Or we could play Gatekeeper and hope that they don't have like a lightning bolt. I've only seen 1 dagger come down so far. Gatekeeper feels risky. But if I play the Viper and the Marshblade, they have 8 on the board, taking us down to a minimum of 8. I think that still actually might be the right play. And the reason I think this ends up being the correct play is because there's no guarantee Gatekeeper suppresses the damage anyway, and at least by doing this, the Marshblade's likely to get us to draw another card to maybe find us some more health gain. And the drawing another card means 1 more dig, potentially, for debilitate. Because ultimately that's what we need right now, more than anything.
I swear vengeance.
Let's go ahead and do this. Did not find what we were looking for. So in this instance, I think we go like this and hope that this is sufficient. I only had the 1 card in hand. If it is a bolt, we are not going to have a good time.
It's nothing personal.
But I believe it was a contract from before. Because we have not seen the contracts come. So they do have 2 contracts. It'd be really a bad time as well if that was like 2 contracts and Uncano. Would not be a good time for us. Now, we need to start gaining health. So I think that we do this. We don't have enough to pair multiples, so we could take the Viper. But again, I think right now, knowing they only have the 2 contracts, I think we want to start using this amulet to try to gain health, put as many guards up while ramping as we can. So we did not find the debilitate. Debilitate would have been a big deal more than once for us. Okay, so in this instance, I think this is a pretty easy Viper.
Rise, my servant.
Because we want to also gain the health. And I'd like to do this because it represents potential health gain.
I'll scout ahead.
Because And we will keep that. Finally, we find a debilitate. It's just an emergency plan. We know that their hand isn't great at the moment because it's 2 contracts. But we hunted so long and hard for this that not playing it feels like a waste. The Necromancer, I really like pulling a Barrowstalker here, so we're going to go ahead and take the cast into time
Rise, my servant.
into a Barrowstalker. We're doing it over here for the record because if they want to contest this, we want to be able to attack into whatever they put. So like if they hit this with a Cliff Racer, we want to be able to get that. Uh-oh.
Behold, my magnificent monster.
This is not what we wanted to see. Contract. We know they still have 1 more contract in their hand. Well, that was very timely, anyway. So we will gain some health.
Midnight stroll.
You're as powerful as you believe.
And Debilitate did not get rid of that for us. But Iraq will gladly take it.
Let's do the fish stick.
So again, right now,
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
just trying to gain some health. Yeah, I think here we'll just take the Barrowstalker again. Go ahead and play another camel. Kind of a tough call. I don't think we're going to end up needing the journey for this particular one. So, given what we kind of just ran into... we'll take the Red Brahmin, I guess. It's just not journey, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we'll go ahead and get rid of one of these camels. Because we want to gain health.
The stench of the living.
And pass the turn. Trying to set ourselves up for getting more drain next turn or just a concession. There's a strong chance that we'll get a concession before we ever get there, but we're just trying to keep our health total afloat.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll. Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
Nine and 8 is 17, 20. I mean, we have enough to try to push for lethal here, so we're gonna do it. We have the Red Brahmin as an emergency, like escape hatch, if you will.
Behold my power. Behold
And that's
my
game.
power.
So a bit scary, but we managed to pull out the victory. Necromancer's Amulet coming in strong both games for us. And anyway, that is today's duck testing video. That is Conscription Empire style. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and until next time, may you walk on warm sands.